Hey guys, welcome to Math Today. Alright, so in math we've been talking about place value and we've learned all about the ones and the tens and the hundreds, and we know how to write those numbers in all those different ways. We can do standard form, we can do expanded form, we can do written form, we can build it with blocks. We've even learned about comparing numbers with those alligator mouths and figuring out which number is more or which number is less. And you guys have been doing really, really well with all this stuff. We are almost done with place value and ready to move on to our next skill, which will be adding and subtracting bigger numbers. And that's kind of what we're working on today. We're going to be adding and subtracting 10 and 100 from a number. And we're going to use some blocks to help us do that at first. And then we're going to learn a way without the blocks. So first thing we are going to do is we are going to figure out what these numbers are, which numbers I'm showing with these blocks. I'm going to move my camera down just a little bit so you can see all of them a little better. There we go. That's better. Okay. So this first number, what number have I made up here with the blocks? Good. 223. Because there's two hundreds, there's two tens, and three ones, which is the number 223. All right, what about this number right here? What number did I make? Good, 515, because there were 500s, 1 10, and 5 ones, which makes the number 515. All right, what about the last number down here at the bottom? Good, I'm going to scooch over just a little bit. There we go. We've made the number 351, right? Because there's 3 hundreds, 5 tens, and 1 1. So 351. All right, so the first thing we're going to be doing is adding or subtracting 10 from these numbers. And it's not going to be as bad as it seems. I've drawn the blocks to kind of help us at first, and then like I said, we're going to try it without the blocks. But the blocks are going to be a big help. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to add 10 to this number. And I know that you could just put, like we've learned how to add, you could put 223 in your head and try to add 10. But that's kind of a lot, 223, 220, that's a lot of counting. So I'm just going to add a tens block. Because this is 10, right? Yeah, this tens block is 10. So I can add 10 just by sticking a tens block with it. How have I changed the number? I can stick it down here. Is this still 223? Now it's 233. Since I'm adding tens, it only changed the tens place. Now I don't have 2 tens, I have 3 tens. And it changed the number to 233. Well, what if I add 10 to this number? What do you think it's going to make it if I add 10 to it? Let's see. Do I still have 515? I still have 500s and I still have 5 ones. But I don't have 1 10 anymore. I have 2 tens now because I added 10. And now what number is that going to make it? 525. Good. Only the tens are what's changing because we're just adding 10. And I'm out of tens blocks over there, so I'm going to steal this one back and put it down here. If I add 10 to this number, what number do you think it's going to make? Remember, I'm just adding 10. Let's see if you're right. I'm going to add it right here, I guess. I'm out of room anywhere else. Do I still have 300s? Yeah, it didn't change the hundreds. But I don't have 5 tens anymore. Now I have 6 tens. And I still have 1 1. That didn't change either. Only the tens changed because we were adding 10. So it went from 351 to 361. Does this seem that hard today, just adding 10? No, I don't think it's going to be that bad. I'm going to change all the numbers back to what they were. And I'm going to take back away the 10s I had. There we go. Now we have exactly what we had at the beginning before I added anything. This time, instead of adding 10, I'm going to take away 10. Or I'm going to take 10 less. Before we were giving it 10 more, which means we were adding 10. Now I'm going to take 10 less, which means take it away. So how is this number going to change if I come up here and I take one of its 10s? Yeah, it's not 223 anymore, is it? No, the hundreds didn't change, and the ones didn't change, so the hundreds and the ones didn't change. But the 10s did, because I'm only working with the 10s, 10 less. I only have 1 now. So what number did I have? 213, very good. All right, what about down here on this one? If I take away 10, 10 less. So I just go and I take this 10. Throw it over there, it's gone. How's this number changed? Yeah, it still has 5 hundreds, and it still has 5 ones, but we don't have any 10s, so we put a 0 there. It's not 515 now, it's just 505. Good. When I took that 10 away, it changed the 10's place. 10 less changed the 10's place. All right, so what about down here on this one? If I have 10 less, that means I take away a 10. Toss it over there. Is it still 351? No, it's 341 because I took 10 away, 10 less. That wasn't that bad, was it? No. All right, so we are also working with hundreds today. Well, I need these numbers. I'm going to leave them just the way I had them. And we're going to work with giving it 100 more and 100 less. It's going to be just like the 10s, though, don't worry. All right, so on this number, if I give it 100 more, so I add 100, what number will I have if I add 100? I'm going to steal from down here because I'm out of hundreds blocks. But if I add 100, now do I have 213? I added 100, so I changed the hundreds place, and I give it another 100 because I had 100 more. So now I have 313. Yeah. I'm going to do the same thing down here. On 505, I'm going to give it another 100. So if I give it another 100, I'm going to stick it right there. Do I have 505? Now 100 more means I gave it one more 100. I don't have 500s anymore, so I changed the hundreds. And now it's got 605. You kind of catching on? And then down here where I had 341, if I steal this one from up here, if I give it another 100, I'm going to stick it over here. Do I have 341? No, I gave it 100 more. I gave it another 100, so it's not 341. It's 441. When I'm giving it 100 more, the only thing that changes was the hundreds. I didn't change the 10s and 1s, I changed the hundreds because I was giving it 100 more. See, the 10s and the 1s stayed the same. It was just the 100s. All right, I'm going to go back to what it was before. That way I can talk about taking away 100 or 100 less. So 213, 505, and 341. All right, so 100 less means I take away 100, just like when I had 10 less. So if I have 100 less means take away. throw it over there. What number do I have now? Good. 100 less means take away 100. So this is the hundreds. I take one away. Now I have 113, not 213. Same thing on 505. 100 less. I take the 100. It's gone. So do I have 505 if I have 100 less? No. I have 405. It changed the hundreds because I took 100 less. What about 341? If I have 100 less, I just take 100 and I get rid of it. Will I have 341 anymore? No. Now I have 241. Do you kind of see how if I have 10 more or 10 less, it changes the number? And how I have 100 more and 100 less, it changes the number? I think you're catching on a little bit. We're going to practice just a little bit more before I set you loose on your assignment. So, get rid of all these and put back where they go. And we're going to actually try some straight from your book, okay? So, get my board all cleaned off. All right, I've got your math book. And the page I'm going to be looking at today are page 124 and 125. These are the two pages we're going to be looking at. If you want to get your book and kind of follow along with us, that's fine. I'm going to be putting them right on the board, though, for you to see them. So it's okay if you don't have your book. But we're going to be looking at these two pages. So what I'm going to be doing is right on this book right here. I'll set it down there where I can see it. So the first one says 10 more than 648. And it wants us to put what number is 10 more than 648. Okay. I'm going to try to do it without building it with blocks. I could draw 648. And I could take, wait a minute, 10 more means I'd have to give it a 10. And I could do that. I could draw the blocks and I could put a 10 up here and see how it changes it. But drawing those blocks takes a lot of time, or taking the blocks I have over here and sticking them on the board takes a long time. We're going to try to do it without the blocks just so it can be faster, right? Okay, so 10 more. I need to know which one's the 10s. Is it the 6? That's not the 10s. Is it the 8? That's not the 10s. It's the 4. Yeah, that's in the 10s place. So I need 10 more. That means I'm going to give it one more 10 because 10 is a 10 stick. I'm going to give it just one more. So look at the number if I just give it 10 more. The hundreds will stay the same. The ones will stay the same. But I have to give it one more 10. So 648 turns into 658 because all I did was give it another 10 stick and it just changes the 10s. Do you kind of see how if it's 10 more, we're just changing the 10s? And more means give it one more. All right, let's try another one. And I'm going to do this one straight from the book. This one says, number 2 says, 100 less. 100 less than 513. So this time, I have to have 100. Which one's the hundreds? Which one's the hundreds? Good, it's the 5s in the hundreds. And I need 100 less. So that means take away 100. So instead of having 513, if I take away one of the hundreds, I'm just going to take one away. There'll be 413. Remember, the 13 doesn't change. It's just the hundreds. And 100 less means take one away. So 513 turns into 413. I'm just taking 100 away. Oh, sorry, my screen went to sleep. Let's see if it'll come back on. Okay, we're good, I think. Okay, sorry. All right, let's try another one from the book, okay? So the next one says 100 more than 329. So 100 more. So 100. Which one's the hundreds? Yep, it's the 3. And 100 more. More means give it another one. So if I give another one, remember he used to be 3, I'm going to give it another one. Good, now it's going to be 429. 100 more means just give it another hundreds. Like if you stuck another hundreds block up there, it would change it from 329 to 429. Because I'm just giving it another 100. Because 100 more. You kind of catching on? Okay. We've got one more on that we're going to try. This one says 10 less. So, 10 less than 827. So 10 less than 827. 10. Which one's the 10? Yep, the 2's the 10s. So 10 less. Less means take one away. So he used to have 2 10s. Less means take one away. He's only going to have 1 10. 817. Because 10 less means take away one of the 10s. Just like if I got there and I grabbed one of the 10 sticks. It wouldn't have 827 if I took a stick. It'd have 817. Because you have 1 less 10. See? 10 less. This isn't so bad, is it? No. Okay, so I think you guys are ready to try just a few. And I know this is kind of a hard skill a little bit, so I'm going to give you just a few in your book that I want you to try for today. And then we're going to have a live video tomorrow, and we'll go back over it just to make sure you understand what 100 more or 100 less, 10 more and 10 less would mean, okay? All right, so I'm going to give you just a few more on the next page in your math book and ask you to do them, but it's just a few of them. It's not the whole page. And then, like I said, we'll look at the rest tomorrow, and I'll make sure you understand how to do it, okay? Okay? See y'all later. Good luck.